Witness, 1985, wasn't just another crime thriller. It was a bold mix of suspense, romance, and Amish culture that no one expected to work. But it did, and it became one of the most unique films of the 80s. Behind the quiet barns and rolling fields were shocking casting changes, dangerous stunts, and moments the studio never wanted you to know about. So here are 20 weird facts you didn't know about Witness. Fact number 1. The script was almost never made. The script for Witness floated around Hollywood for years. Most studios rejected it, saying a crime thriller mixed with Amish culture would never sell. But when Peter Weir read it, he saw potential in the mix of action and silence. Without his vision, this movie would have been buried in a drawer. Imagine, Harrison Ford's only Oscar-nominated role almost didn't exist at all. Fact number 2. Harrison Ford wasn't the first choice before Harrison Ford. Other big names were considered for the role of John Book, including Clint Eastwood. But Eastwood turned it down, worried about the balance between romance and action. Ford stepped in and gave the performance of his career, tough, quiet, and deeply human. The role not only earned him his only Oscar nomination, but also proved he could carry a dramatic story outside of Star Wars and Indiana Jones. Fact number 3. Real Amish people refused to be involved. The production team wanted authenticity, but the Amish community declined to participate. They believed Hollywood would misrepresent their faith and lifestyle. So the filmmakers relied on ex-Amish consultants who explained traditions, language, and rules. Even then, the Amish leaders criticized the final movie, saying it still romanticized their world too much. This clash made the film controversial from day one. Fact number 4. The barn-raising scene was shot in real time. One of the most iconic scenes in Witness is the barn raising. It wasn't just staged. It was filmed in real time with the actors and extras working together to lift beams and hammer nails. Harrison Ford and Kelly McGillis joined in, sweating under the sun just like everyone else. The teamwork shown on screen wasn't acting. It was real labor. That's why the scene feels so authentic and powerful. Fact number 5. A violent script became a gentle romance. The original draft of Witness was much darker, focusing heavily on the violence and crime elements. When Peter Weir stepped in, he softened the story, adding romance and themes of cultural clash. This shift gave the movie its emotional core, the tender relationship between John Book and Rachel Lapp. Without this change, Witness might have been just another gritty cop film instead of the timeless classic it became. Fact number 6. Kelly McGillis almost didn't get the role. Kelly McGillis wasn't a household name when she auditioned for Witness. The studio originally wanted a bigger star, someone with more market value, but director Peter Weir believed her natural warmth and quiet strength were exactly what the role of Rachel needed. Her chemistry with Harrison Ford was undeniable, even in early screen tests. That authenticity made Rachel one of the most memorable female characters of the 80s. Without McGillis, the film's love story wouldn't have had the same depth. Fact number 7. The cornfield chase was extremely dangerous. The tense cornfield chase scene looks thrilling on screen, but behind the scenes it was dangerous. The stalks were so tall and dense that visibility was almost zero. Ford and the stunt team had to sprint blindly while cameras tracked them through narrow paths. Crew members even had to clear out sharp equipment hidden in the field to avoid injuries. The raw panic you see on screen wasn't just acting. It was partly the danger of running full speed into the unknown. Fact number 8. Danny Glover as the villain shocked audiences. Danny Glover was best known at the time for stage performances and small roles, not as a menacing villain. When he played the corrupt cop McPhee, audiences were shocked by his cold, intimidating presence. Many critics noted that his quiet stare was scarier than most over-the-top villains of the era. For Glover, this role opened new doors, proving he could play far more than just sympathetic characters. It was one of the boldest casting choices of the film. Fact number 9. Harrison Ford insisted on doing his own stunts. From the barn raising to the intense shootout in the grain silo, Harrison Ford pushed to perform most of his own stunts. He argued that the audience needed to see John Book as vulnerable, but capable, not replaced by stunt doubles. The grain silo scene was especially tough. Ford had to wade waist-deep in corn kernels while the machinery roared dangerously close. The realism paid off, but the risks were very real. Crew members later admitted they feared accidents at every take. Fact number 10. The shootout was filmed in an actual Amish farm. The final barn confrontation wasn't shot on a studio lot. The crew filmed it on location at an Amish farm, carefully building props and staging equipment without disturbing the real community. Every nail, door, and beam had to be removed afterward to restore the site exactly as it was. This added huge pressure on the filmmakers, but gave the showdown its hauntingly authentic backdrop. The clash between violence and peace became even more striking because it was filmed in a genuine Amish setting. And that's just the beginning. Because if you think these facts are surprising, the next ones are going to blow your mind. From shocking casting choices to behind-the-scenes secrets that nearly ruined the movie. It's only getting crazier from here, so make sure you hit that subscribe button because you won't want to miss what's coming next. Fact number 11. Harrison Ford's injury became part of the film. During filming, Ford actually injured his knee while running in one of the chase sequences. Instead of pausing production, director Peter Weir worked the limp into John Book's character. That small detail gave his performance even more grit. You can see the pain in his movements, which made his fight for survival feel raw and believable. It's one of those happy accidents where reality strengthened the story. Ford later admitted the injury was tough, but it gave his performance an edge he couldn't have faked. Fact number 12. The Amish didn't like the movie's love story. One of the biggest controversies around Witness came from the romantic tension between John Book and Rachel Lapp. The Amish community strongly opposed how Hollywood portrayed their culture, especially the suggestion of a forbidden romance. For them, the relationship blurred the lines of their strict traditions. Critics argued this creative choice added powerful drama, but Amish leaders felt it was disrespectful. The clash between cultural authenticity and cinematic storytelling became one of the film's longest-lasting debates. Fact number 13. The film's silence was revolutionary. Unlike most crime thrillers of the time, Witness embraced long stretches of silence, especially in the Amish village scenes. Director Weir believed that the absence of sound could be just as powerful as explosions or gunfire. The contrast between noisy city violence and quiet rural life created the movie's unique tension. This bold choice shocked Hollywood studios, who feared audiences would get bored. Instead, the silence made the suspense even more gripping, proving that less can truly be more. Fact number 14. The train station scene took weeks to perfect. The opening murder at the train station is one of the most chilling sequences in 80s cinema. But filming it was incredibly complicated. Weir wanted the station to feel both ordinary and terrifying at the same time. The crew spent weeks setting up hidden angles, timing extras, and controlling lighting to capture the shocking murder through the eyes of a child. Lucas Haas, who played young Samuel, had to sit through repeated takes of the violent scene. His real reactions of confusion and fear added authenticity that still unsettles viewers today. Fact number 15. It nearly got an X rating. Surprisingly, Witness almost received an X rating because of its brutal violence in the bathroom murder scene. The MPAA felt the throat slashing was too graphic. Peter Weir had to trim seconds off the sequence, re-edit camera angles, and reduce the sound effects to make it acceptable for an R rating. Even with the changes, the scene remained disturbing and unforgettable. Ironically, this controversy only made the film more famous, as audiences flocked to see what was too intense for Hollywood. Fact number 16. Peter Weir wanted real Amish extras. For authenticity, Peter Weir hoped to cast actual Amish people as extras in village scenes. But the Amish community refused to participate, fearing the film would distort their beliefs. Instead, the crew hired locals from surrounding Pennsylvania towns and trained them in Amish mannerisms, clothing, and speech patterns. Some extras even lived without electricity during filming to stay in character. This dedication gave the movie an authentic texture, even if no real Amish ever appeared on screen. Fact number 17. Lucas Haas shocked the crew with his talent. At just 8 years old, Lucas Haas carried some of the movie's most emotional weight. His performance as Samuel was so natural that many crew members thought he wasn't acting at all. Weir often filmed him without warning, letting Haas react genuinely to Ford or the environment. In fact, Haas was so good that critics compared him to seasoned adult actors. Many believe the movie wouldn't have worked without the innocence and quiet strength he brought to Samuel's character. Fact number 18. The silo scene nearly went wrong. The grain silo sequence when Nisyanhanint, where Book nearly drowns in cascading corn, was far more dangerous than it looked. Ford insisted on being inside the silo as tons of corn poured over him. Safety teams were on high alert because grain can suffocate a person within seconds. Several crew members said they were terrified during each take, convinced something could go wrong. But Ford's commitment made the scene pulse with real danger, and audiences felt every second of it. Fact number 19. The Amish barn was protected by law. The barn where the climactic shootout was filmed wasn't just a set piece. It was a protected historical building. The filmmakers had to get special permits to shoot there, and every nail, bullet hole, and fake blood stain had to be carefully cleaned or removed afterward. Local preservation groups monitored the filming closely. Ironically, the barn became even more famous after the movie, turning into a tourist stop for fans of Witness. Fact number 20. The film's success changed. Hollywood forever. Witness wasn't just a hit. It proved that Hollywood could blend genres in unexpected ways. A mix of romance, thriller, and cultural drama, it won 2 Oscars and earned 8 nominations. More importantly, it showed that audiences wanted stories that went beyond the typical action or crime formula. The movie influenced a wave of cross-genre films in the late 80s and gave Harrison Ford one of the proudest moments of his career. To this day, it remains the only performance that earned him an Oscar nomination. And that's it. Witness, 1985. 20 weird facts you didn't know. From dangerous stunts in corn silos to real-life controversy with the Amish, this movie was far more daring than anyone expected. It wasn't just a thriller. It was a love story, a cultural study, and a career-defining moment for Harrison Ford. So the next time you watch Witness, remember, behind every quiet moment in those Amish fields was a storm of danger, risk, and bold choices that changed cinema forever.